You place 2 bets every single round. You cash out one at 1.3x multiplier. You watch the other bet climb higher. This dual bet approach generates consistent profit while most players chase single massive wins. I see you making the same mistake they make. You bet everything on one outcome. You pray for 10x or 50x multipliers. You lose your entire stake when the plane crashes at 1.01x. The math is brutal on single bet strategies. Success demands splitting your risk across multiple positions. I will show you 3 strategies that actually work. The research proves something fascinating about Aviator mechanics. You can place 2 simultaneous bets on every single round. Most players ignore this feature completely. They focus on one big bet instead. This creates unnecessary risk concentration. Your first strategy exploits this dual betting system perfectly. I call this the split target method. You divide your total stake into 2 equal parts. You set the first bet to auto-cash at 1.3x multiplier. You let the second bet ride to 3x or higher. The 1.3x bet hits roughly 70% of the time based on probability distribution. This generates steady base profit. The higher multiplier bet captures occasional larger wins. You compound small gains while maintaining upside potential. The math demands verified conditions. You need transparent RTP systems, no rigged algorithms. I tested these probabilities on platforms with reliable withdrawals. The link sits in the description below. Welcome bonuses reach $500 depending on your country. Most platforms are complete scams. You need tested environments for execution framework success. Here's your exact execution framework for split target method. You risk 2% of your total bankroll per round. You split this into 1% for conservative bet and 1% for aggressive bet. You set auto cash out at 1.3x for the conservative position. You manually cash the aggressive bet between 2x and 5x multiplier. Never chase multipliers above 5x on your aggressive bet. The probability drops exponentially beyond this threshold. You maintain this discipline regardless of recent outcomes. Previous rounds have 0 impact on current probabilities. This is mathematically proven in crash game design. Now here's the part most serious players discover eventually. Single-session variance can destroy even perfect strategy execution. You need protection against inevitable losing streaks. Your second strategy addresses this vulnerability directly. I call this the session ladder method. You divide each gaming session into 5 equal bankroll segments. You start with the smallest segment only. You increase to the next segment only after doubling the current one. You never skip segments regardless of confidence level. You stop immediately after losing any complete segment. This creates natural stop-loss protection while preserving capital for future sessions. Your session ladder execution requires precise bankroll mathematics. You allocate 10% of your total bankroll per session maximum. You divide this 10% into segments of 2%, 2%, 2%, 2%, and 2%. You start every session with just the first 2% segment. You must double this segment before accessing segment 2. If you lose the active segment, you end the session immediately. No exceptions exist for this rule. You return tomorrow with a fresh 10% allocation. This method prevents catastrophic single-session losses. You survive variance through systematic capital preservation. At this point, many players try to optimize their cash-out timing manually. They believe they can read patterns in the multiplier history. This creates a dangerous psychological trap. Your third strategy eliminates this human error factor completely. I call this the autopilot advantage method. You use only auto cash out settings for both bet positions. You never override these settings manually during active rounds. You set conservative bet to auto cash at 1.25x multiplier. You set aggressive bet to auto cash at 2.5x multiplier. These targets hit frequently enough to generate consistent profit. You avoid the emotional decision-making that destroys most players. Your autopilot execution demands perfect discipline in target selection. Conservative targets between 1.2x and 1.4x hit approximately 75% of rounds. Aggressive targets between 2x and 3x hit approximately 40% of rounds. You adjust targets based on your risk tolerance only. You never adjust targets mid-session based on recent results. You review and modify targets only between complete gaming sessions. This removes impulsive decision-making from your strategy execution. The auto-cache feature eliminates network lag and reaction time issues. You capture precise multipliers without human timing errors. All three strategies share one critical mathematical foundation. You never risk more than 5% of total bankroll in any single session. You never chase losses by increasing bet sizes mid-session. You maintain detailed records of every session outcome. You calculate your true return rate over minimum 100-round samples. Short-term variance means nothing in crash game mathematics. Your edge emerges through consistent application over hundreds of rounds. Most players quit before reaching statistical significance. You persist because you understand the mathematical requirements. The combination approach maximizes your profit potential significantly. You rotate between all three methods across different sessions. You use split target for aggressive growth periods. You use session ladder during high-variance streaks. You use autopilot when emotional control becomes challenging. Each method addresses specific weaknesses in crash game psychology. You become unpredictable to variance patterns. You maintain multiple profit channels simultaneously. These strategies require one final critical element for success. You must treat Aviator as a mathematical exercise, not entertainment. You track every bet, every outcome, every session result. You analyze your performance weekly using concrete data. You identify which strategy performs best under different conditions. You adapt your approach based on empirical evidence only. You ignore gut feelings and superstitious beliefs completely. Mathematics governs your decisions exclusively. You now possess 3 profitable Aviator strategies. Execute them only on verified platforms with transparent mechanics. Check the description for tested sites with welcome bonuses up to $500. Your mathematical advantage means nothing on rigged systems. Your profit potential is now completely different from random players. You have systematic approaches that exploit the game's dual bet mechanics. You have protection against variance through proper bankroll management. You have automated execution that removes emotional errors. You understand the probability mathematics that drive consistent results. You are no longer gambling randomly. You are applying proven mathematical strategies. Start with the split target method tomorrow. Use 2% total risk per round. Set your auto cash targets at 1.3x and 3x. Track your results for 50 rounds minimum. Your systematic approach to Aviator begins now.